It's the middle of the winter, and in the Baltic states, temperatures can plummet to -30. So you'd be pretty mad to go to Latvia for a short break, right? Welcome to Travelcaster, the travel pod that takes you there.
With flights from airports across the UK, Riga, the capital of Latvia, is easy to reach. The flying time is around 2.5 hours, and it's worth knowing that Latvia is 2 hours ahead of British time. And you don't need to spend a fortune getting from the airport into the heart of the city.
When you exit the airport doors, you'll see the taxis waiting in front of you. Don't bother with those. Turn right, cross the road, through the crunchy snow today, and the number 22 bus will take you to the city centre for less than €2. And about 20 minutes later, you will arrive in Riga city centre. Most of the buses stop near the main bus and train station, which are divided from the main road by this horrendous, huge Stockmann shopping centre. Don't bother with that. You won't see anything in there that you can't get in the rest of the world. But from here, if you cross the busy road, you'll be taken into the old town. And that's where much of the accommodation is going to be if you're staying in Riga. It's worth noting that the heart of the old town as well is largely pedestrianised, which is good, because everywhere else there's loads of traffic and people driving like maniacs.
Latvia is part of the 3 Baltic states, which include Estonia and Lithuania. As well as bordering those 2 countries, there's the Baltic Sea to the west and Russia to the east. The currency here is the euro, and card payments are taken almost everywhere. The country also has a thriving tourist trade, so you'll find English is widely spoken in hotels, bars, and restaurants.
Now, if you are a regular subscriber to the podcast, you will know there's nothing more we like than going up a tower. And when I saw St. Peter's Church in Riga, I thought, I've got to go up that tower. And so did quite a few people around me, actually. It's very busy. Considering it's -1 for the air temperature, around about -6 with the wind chill, it's a little bit Baltic. Well, that's where we are. But fortunately, there was a lift to take us all the way up here. Now, this church was first built in 1209. It's got medieval roots, it's got Gothic design, and it has been destroyed several times over the centuries. In fact, the impressive structure that you see today was only completed in 1973. But up here, this is the best view. We can see the Cathedral of Riga before us. All of the rooftops are covered in snow, and if we turn counterclockwise, we get an icy blast off the Daugava River, which is frozen still. It's an absolutely amazing sight. A trip up here, a single trip for an adult, will cost you €9. Well worth it though for the selfies. What you'll quickly find in Riga is just how walkable it is. Just across the road from St. Peter's Church, take a left and then a right, and you'll soon come here to City Square. At the heart of it are 2 buildings with varying fortunes and varying contrasts. In front of me is the stunning Riga Old Town Hall, dating back to the early 14th century. It's been the administrative centre for the city since the 1500s. And opposite it is the dazzling House of the Blackheads, first built in 1334 for the Brotherhood of Blackheads, a guild of unmarried merchants. Now, both buildings were destroyed during the Second World War, but were brilliantly rebuilt. The House of the Blackheads in 1999 and the Town Hall completed in 2003. Today, they stand as proud symbols of Riga's resilience and 700 years of history.
This is Travelcaster.
This is Travelcaster.
This is Travelcaster.
This is Travelcaster. What's that you say? You'd like more details of today's exciting location? Sure, we can do that. Click on travelcaster.blog for practical tips and exclusive insights into how to get here and what to do when you arrive.
We're also on Instagram. Just search for TravelPod Kevin.
Now, many of these historic buildings, including the House of the Blackheads, have museums inside them. There are loads of museums around Riga, and if you are a museum buff, you can buy a Riga card, which is going to give you discounts or even free entry to some of them. Next to the House of the Blackheads, a rather interesting sculpture. It marks the first public Christmas tree in Riga that was decorated in 1510. Not sure whether it was the first public one anywhere in the world, but there's a kind of metal sculpture to its homage. But next to that is a far more imposing and slightly sinister building. It's brutalist architecture of the Soviet style, and there's a reason for that. If you come inside, I'll tell you more. Because this building was actually erected to honour the Red Army of Russia, which occupied Latvia since the Second World War. But the story is far more complicated than that, and today this building now houses the Museum of Occupations, telling the story of Latvia's not one, but two, but three different types of occupation from the beginning of the Second World War. It's a fascinating and at times harrowing tale, but it's one that must be told. And as you come from the ground floor of the museum, where the main exhibits are up here, it tells you of Latvia's independence in 1991 and the progress the country has made since then. It's well worth an hour or so of your time and the €8 admission fee. So we're back here on the 13th of January street in Riga, and here's why it's important. Because on the 13th of January 1991, just hours after Soviet forces killed civilians in Vilnius, Latvia's leaders called on people to defend key buildings in Riga and other cities. Thousands responded, building makeshift barricades around strategic sites such as the Parliament building, the National Radio Station and the Interior Ministry. The barricades remained in place until late January, and although Soviet forces carried out violent attacks, including the deadly assault on the Interior Ministry on the 20th of January, that effort ultimately helped Latvia maintain its path towards full independence. No wonder then that one of the most important streets is named after one of the country's most important dates in history. Now, there's much more to Riga than the old town, and just across from the back of the bus station, you will see appearing before you 5 enormous aircraft hangars. During the First World War, the Germans used them to house Zeppelins, but today there's something quite special through the doors. Come this way, because this is Riga's central market, and it is enormous. Immediately, the smell hits you. In this particular case, fresh fruit followed by fish, because we're in the fresh produce section. And Rigans, visitors, go about their daily lives here, stocking up on all kinds of goodies. And I have to say, compared to some of the other markets I've been to throughout Europe, this is one of the biggest. And the setting of these aircraft hangars is something else. Now, if you happen to be self-catering, that fresh produce might be very useful. But once you've gone from the fresh food stalls, go through the homewares, go through the clothing section, go through the souvenir section, and come through here, past the cheese counter, and around the corner to the left, you will find a rather nice food court. There's about a dozen stalls here selling all kinds of hot treats, including the pelmeni, which is a Latvian dumpling, a bit like the pierogi in Poland, filled with things like chicken or cheese or a combination of the two. Really tasty and really cheap. There's even some Latvian craft beer, courtesy of the Labietis brewery, that's got a bit of a tap room going here. And you know what? They'll give you a taster for free. As well as the array of goods available in the hangars, there's also an outdoor market here too. And even on a frozen day like today, there's still plenty of interest, people out shopping. Now, here at Travelcaster, we like to take you to places that aren't in the guidebook. And while Riga's old town has its charms, it's always nice to get out and explore a little bit further. The number 17 bus has brought me to St. Gertrude's Cathedral, a stunning spire standing right in the middle of a road just off the main street. But this isn't the attraction I've come to see. Because if you keep the cathedral on your left and take the first road to the right, you come to a neat little street that's got a hidden bar in it. This is Alus Keller, which literally translates to cellar bar. In a subterranean setting below the street, you'll find an enormous selection of craft beers in bottles, cans, and on tap. Now, this is mainly a hangout for locals, but the owner is extremely friendly and will give you plenty of tips of tasty drinks to try out. It'll even give you a little bit of a free taste if you want. Now, bear in mind that this is the central district of Riga. It's a little bit more rough and ready than the old town. Just keep your wits about you. Crime doesn't appear to be a problem. I wasn't approached by anybody, for instance, begging for cash or anything like that, but you just do need to make sure you keep an eye on stuff. Now, as you'd expect in this part of Europe, Alus Keller is not the only cellar bar in town, and some are a little more lively than others. Back in the old town, this is Alus Praga Folk Clubs. I was expecting to find some traditional Latvian music here, but on a busy Saturday night, it's very much rock and roll. Admittedly, this is a little bit of a tourist place. There are accents and languages from all over the world here, and the prices are matched accordingly. There's also tasty food though, good table service, and a great atmosphere if you want a bit of live music. However, if you don't want to watch somebody else performing music, you can always make some of your own. This is Karjela, a Finnish-themed bar, which on a Friday and Saturday night hosts karaoke. And yes, some of the songs are in English, but you can sing in Finnish too. It's a good place to finish a night. And on that dubious note, we'll end this episode. There is more to come, though, from our Latvian adventure in the next episode. To find out how to get here and what to do when you arrive, head to travelcaster.blog, where you'll find all of the information of our trip so far. And subscribe to the podcast wherever you are. Don't forget to join us again for another edition of Travelcaster, the travel pod that takes you there.